Okay, moving on to Angel Season 1. The way I'm doing this is that I'm alternating between the season of Buffy, season of Angel, and so on. I can't do it episode by episode. It's way too hard for me with the tone, yeah. So, heading into that show, it was a little tough for me to get used to it at first because the tone of the show was pretty different, but once the show got the status quo of, Angel setting up the agency with Doyle and Cordelia, and then having various discussions with Kate the detective, the show did actually improve in my mind, and I actually grew to enjoy it in many more ways than Buffy. I'm not going to call it a better show, but I appreciated, I think, the writing in here a lot more than I did with Buffy, because even though Buffy does have quite a lot of serious stuff going on, you nonetheless get the idea that there is a fun atmosphere in there for quite a lot of it. Here, there wasn't nearly as much fun atmosphere, even though there were some good one-liners, let me tell you, especially the banter between Cordelia and the others, yeah. And it was good to see Angel being able to handle a show on his own, because at first I was like, I'm not entirely sure that he's going to be able to carry as much weight behind him, especially since he doesn't have, other characters supporting him. But then they bring in Cordelia from Buffy, which was the main reason I got into the show in the first place. Not because, I have a thing for the actress who plays Cordelia. It was just that once I learned that there was another character who came over to Angel, Joel, I felt like there would be enough that I could relate to in order to port over here. And it was nice to see the changes that they did to Cordelia here, because even though she does have her sassy, snappy, standoffish moments, whatever term you want to use, she does become a little more capable of helping, because in Buffy you pretty much always got the idea that she was a sidekick, but here she gets run into the action a lot more, helps people out, and just, yeah. It was nice to see her do that and learn a little bit from her past, even though she does annoy people, but everybody has their own annoying moments, and I said so myself. I bet many of you, when you first saw me, you thought I was a nerd or a jerk. Right. And then the banter that kept going on between Cordelia, Doyle, and Angel, that was really good, because just, you got the idea, because the fun atmosphere that was in Buffy wasn't here, just, I don't know why, I just love those interactions a little bit better than I did with the Scooby Gang, although it could be that, I didn't have anything to compare the Scooby Gang to. I could be wrong on that. And then the character of Doyle, that was an interesting twist, having a character who can see visions and has to struggle with being half demon, because it didn't even cross my mind that it was possible for demons and humans to interbreed, but given how some demons actually are, fairly humanoid, it could happen. I mean, they do that in Star Trek, so, yeah. It's possible. And, the detective, Kate, it was nice to see somebody who, is used to dealing with tough situations from a different perspective be introduced here, because given the darker nature of the show, just, it's nice to appreciate different characteristics, although I was a little bit surprised that they didn't really have her talk to Angel about, you're getting way too close to the line there, mister, although towards the end of the show she does seem to become more aware of who Angel really is, but towards the end of the season was where I started to get into my bad period, so I don't remember too much from the last fourth that well, other than bringing back a Darla, which was interesting, because I remember watching season 1 of Buffy and going, oh yeah, though kind of showing her in a way that she's probably going to matter. Well, she didn't matter that much, especially compared to the Master, so hopefully they decide to do more with her later on. See my thoughts confirmed. That'd be nice. And then there was the killing off of Doyle and the reintroduction of Wesley. Well, I had been thinking that, as I had been watching more of this universe, you know, it's been a while since they really killed anyone on the good guy's side, because there was that teacher at the beginning of Season 2 who was linked with Giles, who died, and then Oz, by the middle of Season 4, was written off, you know, going off and doing his thing, but no one's actually died. Shouldn't they, you know, do something? You've got 12 seasons in this universe, and just one character? Well, yeah, I got my wishes kind of granted halfway through the season, and that was, you know, a touching moment, you know, seeing him sacrifice himself to save everybody, because you did kind of get the idea that that was a situation where someone probably would have to sacrifice himself, and what especially sucked was that he finally, you know, got the note to confess that he had a thing for Cordelia. So yeah, I felt sorry for him, especially since I learned that the actor who played Doyle actually eventually overdosed on heroin, and that killed him. Yeah, was real bummed to learn that. Made me feel even more sorry that they killed his character off. You know, he gets a good billing role for half a season, and then, yeah, that sucked. And then they bring back Wesley, and I was like, oh no, you brought the idiot back? But after 2 episodes with him, it is established that he has pretty much, quote, been through the ringer, so to speak, so he's, more capable than where he was at the end of Season 3, so even though he is still clumsy, he can help a lot more, and what was real surprising was that he was able to step into the group and replace Doyle minus the visions, because Cordelia has the visions, you know, pretty easily, because when all 3 of them were arguing the same way that the original 3 was arguing, Angel just goes, Cordelia, Doyle, and then all 3 of them, you know, just pause, because they're like, you called him Doyle. That hit home, because it felt exactly the same. So I was really impressed with that. So yeah, you took a character that I absolutely despised in Season 3 of Buffy and transformed him. That was nice. And then the villains for this season, because I haven't touched upon them yet, well, a lot of it was similar to what we did before, but given the darker nature of the show, I did begin to feel more nervous for the characters, because when Spike and a couple of those other people were torturing Angel, I got real nervous for him, and then the continuation of Faith's story arc, which was the first real big crossover that this show has with Buffy, that had a couple of touching moments in there, yeah. And I really hope that that isn't the end to her character, because I do feel like that there is more that they can use her with. Because all throughout the show, she is a recurring character and probably is going to stay that way. It's not going to get bumped up to intro-level character, but there's stuff that I think that they can still do with her character when she gets out of prison. Like, I find it tough to believe that she's just going to stay in prison for the rest of this show's time frame, you know? Yeah. And I do kind of like the idea of having the main villain be, in a sense, a corporation, because there's all the American sentiment against big corporations and them having too much power. I'm sure that it exists in other countries, but I've never really heard it that much for many countries, except perhaps Apple and maybe Walmart. I don't know. So, yeah. That was a nice decision, although, as I said, towards the end of the season it began to get a little tough to determine the main bad guy's actions going on there. Right. So I know that it got a little complicated there at the end, but I did like the product that they turned out, and I'm definitely glad I purchased the complete series set so I can continue with everything TV in the Buffyverse. See ya.